Welcome to the world of criminal secrets and mysteries. Today, we'll delve into the stories of 10 famous criminals whose names have come to symbolize unsolved cases. The Zodiac Killer was an unidentified serial killer who operated in Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s. This individual gained notoriety for a series of murders and cryptic messages sent to local newspapers, law enforcement, and individuals. The Zodiac Killer's confirmed victims numbered at least 5, though the killer claimed responsibility for more. The murders were marked by a series of seemingly random attacks on couples in isolated areas. Notably, the killer often communicated with cryptograms or coded messages to newspapers and police, signing these messages with a distinctive symbol, a crosshair-like design. Despite numerous investigations, ciphers, and suspects, the Zodiac Killer's true identity remains unknown. The case's notoriety arises from the killer's ability to evade capture, the cryptic nature of their messages, and the lack of definitive evidence leading to their identification. The Zodiac case sparked public fear and fascination, leading to extensive media coverage and numerous theories regarding the killer's identity. Even with the passage of time, the Zodiac Killer's true identity and the full extent of their crimes remain an enduring mystery in American criminal history. D.B. Cooper became famous after committing one of the most mysterious crimes in U.S. aviation history. In November 1971, a man identifying himself as D.B. Cooper aboard a Northwest Orient Airlines airplane made a ransom chase and then disappeared. The event went down in history as the D.B. Cooper case. The incident began when a man wearing dark glasses and a tie approached the check-in counter at the Portland airport and purchased a ticket for a flight to Seattle. After takeoff, he handed a flight attendant a note claiming to be in possession of explosives and demanded a $200,000 ransom and a parachute. By D.B. Cooper's indications, he could have been a professional, as he was calm and confident. When the plane landed for the ransom drop and the passengers were released, D.B. Cooper took the money and the parachute and then settled on the back of the plane. In the middle of the night, after takeoff, he opened the back door of the plane and jumped to an unknown destination. His exact fate remains a mystery to this day, as neither he, his body, nor the ransom money have ever been recovered. The D.B. Cooper case has become one of the most mysterious in forensic history, as there is no definitive evidence or clues to determine exactly what happened to him after he jumped from the plane. The case remains one of the largest unsolved crimes in the United States, and many details of D.B. Cooper's disappearance remain the subject of speculation and theories. Elizabeth Short, known as the Black Dahlia, was a 22-year-old aspiring actress whose body was found on January 15, 1947, in a vacant lot in Los Angeles. Her body was severely mutilated, severed at the waist, with cuts on her face that gave her the infamous Glasgow smile. The brutality of the murder and the bizarre nature of the mutilation shocked both law enforcement and the public. The case garnered intense media coverage, partly due to the sensationalist reporting and the victim's connection to Hollywood. Short's nickname, the Black Dahlia, was a moniker given to her posthumously by the press, referencing her dark hair and penchant for wearing black clothing. Investigators faced significant challenges due to the lack of concrete leads. The case attracted numerous false confessions and speculative theories. Multiple suspects were considered and questioned, but none were definitively linked to the crime. The Black Dahlia case remains unsolved to this day, despite the passage of over 7 decades. It's still an active point of interest for amateur sleuths, writers, and investigators who continue to explore new angles and theories in the hope of finally uncovering the truth behind one of America's most infamous unsolved murders. The disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa in 1975 is a compelling unsolved mystery that continues to captivate the public decades later. Hoffa, the former president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, vanished on July 30, 1975, from the parking lot of the Matchas Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan. He was last seen waiting for a meeting with Anthony Giacalone, a Detroit mafia figure, and Anthony Provenzano, a New Jersey Teamsters boss with alleged mafia ties. However, neither of these men showed up, and Hoffa was never seen again. Numerous theories have emerged about Hoffa's disappearance, including involvement by organized crime, disputes within the labor movement, and potential connections to government agencies due to Hoffa's previous criminal convictions. Despite extensive investigations and searches, including excavations at various locations based on tips and leads, no conclusive evidence about Hoffa's fate or whereabouts has been found. His disappearance remains an enigmatic, unsolved case in American history, fueling speculation, books, movies, and ongoing public interest. The Axeman of New Orleans was an unidentified serial killer who terrorized the city of New Orleans from May 1918 to October 1919. The killer's modus operandi involved breaking into homes and attacking residents with an axe or similar bladed weapon, often leaving his victims brutally murdered. During this period, a series of gruesome attacks occurred, leading to panic and fear among the city's residents. The killer predominantly targeted Italian-American grocers or their families, leading to theories about potential motives, though none were conclusively proven. What made this case particularly haunting was a letter purportedly written by the Axeman, claiming responsibility for the crimes and stating that he was a demon from the hottest hell. The letter also included a bizarre demand that people play jazz music in their homes if they wanted to avoid his wrath. Despite several suspects and investigations, the identity of the Axeman was never confirmed, and the killings abruptly ceased in October 1919. The case remains unsolved, leaving behind a legacy of mystery and fear surrounding the enigmatic Axeman of New Orleans. Etan Patz disappeared in Manhattan on May 25, 1979, when he was just 6 years old. The event was one of the most famous missing child cases in U.S. history and had a significant impact on child safety regulations. Etan left the house that day, heading to the bus stop to get to school on his own. He never made it to school and was never seen again after that. Extensive searches were conducted after Etan's disappearance, but he was never located. Etan Patz's disappearance led to changes in missing children legislation. His disappearance inspired the creation of Missing Children's Day, which is celebrated on May 25 every year in the United States. In 2012, a man named Pedro Hernandez was arrested and charged with the murder of Etan Patz after he confessed to what he had done. However, in 2017, the trial was invalidated due to lack of evidence and sufficient proof. Even after many years, the case of Etan Patz's disappearance remains unresolved, and his disappearance continues to be a mystery. The Villisca Axe Murders refer to a gruesome and unsolved homicide that occurred in the small town of Villisca, Iowa, in June 1912. 8 people, including 6 children, were brutally murdered in their home during the night, with the assailant using an axe found at the scene. The victims were the Moore family, Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, and 2 young girls who were spending the night. The murderer bludgeoned each victim, inflicting severe head injuries. The crime scene was discovered the next morning, sending shockwaves through the community and attracting national attention. The case led to a large-scale investigation and numerous suspects, but despite efforts, no one was ever convicted or definitively linked to the murders. Various theories, including rumors of a possible serial killer passing through town or local suspects, were explored but never led to a conclusive resolution. The Villisca Axe Murders remain a haunting, unsolved mystery, with the house where the tragedy occurred becoming a tourist attraction and the subject of paranormal investigations due to its eerie history and lack of closure in the case. The disappearance of 3-year-old Madeline McCann in 2007 in Portugal has become one of the most famous and mysterious cases in the world history of searching for missing children. At the time, Madeline was traveling on vacation with her parents and younger twins, staying in the resort town of Praia da Luz. On the evening of May 3, 2007, while on vacation, Madeline and her siblings stayed asleep in their room while her parents dined at a nearby restaurant. Upon returning, Madeline was discovered missing. Madeline McCann's disappearance sparked widespread public interest and attracted worldwide media attention. The Portuguese police launched an extensive investigation, which was later handed over to the British police. Numerous searches, interviews of witnesses and suspects have been conducted, but so far no concrete evidence has been found to indicate Madeline's whereabouts. The case of Madeline McCann became one of the most deafening and prolonged searches for a missing child in world history. Even after many years, many questions and theories remain, but the fate of Madeline McCann is still a mystery. The original Night Stalker, also known as the East Area Rapist, was an unidentified serial offender responsible for a series of rapes and murders in California during the 1970s and 1980s. Initially known as the East Area Rapist due to his early crimes in the Sacramento area, his reign of terror extended to Southern California, where he was later dubbed the original Night Stalker. His modus operandi included stalking and burglarizing homes before assaulting couples. He was known for his meticulous planning, terrorizing victims by restraining them and making disturbing phone calls to his victims both before and after his attacks. The original Night Stalker, East Area Rapist, is believed to be responsible for at least 50 sexual assaults and 10 murders. Despite extensive investigations and the use of various forensic methods, including DNA analysis, the perpetrator's identity remained elusive for decades. In 2018, law enforcement authorities arrested Joseph James D'Angelo, a former police officer, in connection with the crimes. DNA evidence linked D'Angelo to the crimes, leading to his prosecution. His arrest marked a significant breakthrough in a case that had remained unsolved for over 40 years, providing closure to the victims and their families. The Freeway Phantom was an unidentified serial killer responsible for a string of murders in Washington, D.C. between 1971 and 1972. The killer targeted young African-American girls, all aged between 10 and 18, abducting and murdering them before leaving their bodies along highways or wooded areas. Each victim endured a similar fate, experiencing sexual assault and strangulation before being disposed of near freeways. The case gained significant attention and instilled fear within the community, leading to a large-scale investigation involving multiple law enforcement agencies. Despite extensive efforts to solve the case, including sketches of suspects, forensic examinations, and interviews, the identity of the Freeway Phantom remained elusive. The lack of concrete leads and the sudden halt of killings added to the mystery, leaving the case unresolved and the perpetrator unknown.